as a population, we've just normalized lying to ourselves. You see, the fact that EACC itself is telling us that corruption has increased, it's just an indictment on their failures as an institution. Because you cannot come to say that, you cannot be proud as a head teacher of a school to report that last year we got 5 A's, this year we got 0. You shouldn't even be holding that job. A very simple example I can give you is simple. It's the case of the Kisii governor, deputy governor who was impeached. Can you imagine someone going to report themselves to EACC that I gave someone a bribe? That person is free. That's a very straightforward case. Because a bribe is not just to public servants. A bribe has a giver and a taker. Both of them commit a crime under the Bribery Act. EACC are jokers. It's an institution that is just wasting our money. Most of them are just blackmailing people, public servants and all those people for their own personal gain. I can tell you that for free. Otherwise, have you ever seen any serious case they have ever convicted? Tell me any single case they have ever convicted. They are very good with theories and stories on TV for their own personal benefit. So for me, EACC is just one of the many. In fact, I'm sure we'll be having a conversation about parastatals. If there are entities that are wasting our money, are entities like EACC. I just think corruption, you know, as a society, we massage crime by giving it fancy names. Corruption, why do we call it corruption? Why did we have to create a good name for it? Is it because it's the rich who steal or the big guys in big government offices? That is stealing. Stealing or robbery, in between, depending on the extent of the damage. So we should do away with entities like EACC, let the police arrest, let the DCI investigate, let the court charge. What is the purpose? Because at the end of the day, you realize most of these people, after these cases, they still go back, the DCI, the DPP, all this merry-go-round is what gets lost in the case. But that is a failed institution. I come back to us as a population. We are a population of liars. We are a population of pretenders. We are inherently corrupt in our own selves. Sometimes, you know, corruption has, the reason why we are saying it's normalized, because we've gotten to a point where it's a willing buy, a willing sell. We have Kenyans who beg the police to take something so that they can let them go after breaking the law. We create crisis modes for ourselves. We put ourselves in a hurry. You see Kenyans harassing matatu people. Go very fast, go very fast. I'm here, supposed to be here at 7:30. I wake up at 7 and I stay on Thika Road. Now I've started pushing people. I take a motorbike, I have to tell that person to hurry. You create a crisis. That is corruption. Corruption is not giving money. Corruption is in the mind. The moment you compromise the existing procedures, endanger the lives of others and even yourself, that is corruption. So as a people, we need to look deep, to intro and retrospect upon ourselves. Before we have this conversation about, you know, the problem we have is that we've made a case where corruption is about public servants. You know, you're supposed, you see, I always use this example. As a global citizen, there are simple documents you should have. You need to have, of course, an ID is mandatory. Of course, you need to have a license. You need to have a passport. But then you're waiting until the last minute. I talked about crisis mode. The moment you're walking into an office and you're already late in your mind, you will try to do something that can accelerate the process, can get you out of a crisis that you've unnecessarily created, my brother.
Yes.
So we in ourselves, we create an environment for corruption to thrive. By the time we are presenting ourselves to those authorities, already in our mind, we are already guilty. That's why we are already prepared with something. Because it's about us. It's about us to determine, to decide. Today, my brother, if you decide you will not give a bribe, you will not give a bribe. You will plan yourself, because corruption thrives in environments with poor planning. Zero planning, in fact. You don't plan yourself well, so you find yourself in a hurry, you're in a crisis, so you have to find a way around the procedure. So for me, on the issue of corruption, we don't need institutions. We need just us as a population.
But the report says that we've normalized it.
We have normalized, and I have given you a chronology of
Yes.
corruption in this country.
Yes, and that's when you said that if indeed I give out a bribe and start reporting that I've given somebody a bribe, that will be us fighting corruption, isn't it?
If
I give out a bribe,
yes,
because these government officials do expect that I give out a bribe, and then I report that I've given out this bribe to a certain official, that will be me fighting corruption as opposed to enabling it.
you see, for example, it will be one way, but I'm saying I believe in preventive as opposed to curative. It's okay as one of the ways. Even ESCC itself sets up traps. The government, all those people will use others to get to fight crime.
Yes.
From where I sit, what we can do is, if we realize that Simba is not offering this service the way it should be,
Also.
that's where corruption starts from. So we have an obligation. First, plan yourself well, organize yourself, commit yourself to the anti-corruption charter from a personal perspective. Because like I said, the moment you are not in a crisis, then the probability of you being tempted to give a bribe is very minimal. If you are on the road and you are following the road rules, the speed limits, you are not overlapping, you are not doing, deep inside yourself, already the moment you've disciplined yourself and you are law-abiding and crime-stopping citizen, the probability of you giving a bribe is low. Like I've said, corruption thrives in an environment of poor planning, and because of poor planning, there's poor enforcement. So I believe as a person, once I've done my best, then if you desire a bribe from me, I have a responsibility to stop. If I cannot prevent, preventive is from your own, is from your end.
Yes.
Now, curative is a situation where you're in a situation where that situation has been imposed on. So you have a responsibility to report it.
Yes.
And we have reporting mechanisms.